Yo, 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 what's up? This is Jeremy from JJ Innovation Garage in the where? The where? The beach capital of the state. And I hope everybody's fine as frogs here today. Yesterday, the good Lord blessed us with 67 degrees. Nice. Raised the window, raised the door, prime outside, did a little priming in here, primed the D50, did a little bit of work on the license plate holder, and we'll show you some pictures on that later on this week. I think it's coming along nicely. Today is 40 degrees, cloudy, and it's supposed to rain the rest of the week. I think the low is going to be in the 20s tonight. If you don't like the weather in North Carolina, just wait 30 minutes, it'll change. So, with that being said, here at the shop, we specialize in restoration. That's my passion, restoration. Old cars, big muscle, Detroit steel. That's what I like to do. So I also teach refinishing at the college. Been there since 09. Also, we have restoration program. We have a metal fabricating program. We have a welding program. Paint 1, paint 2, non-structural damage 1, structural damage, non-structural damage 1 and 2, structural damage 1 and 2, research and development, ACs, anything automotive, we do it on the refinishing, collision and refinishing side. Special finishes is where at the end of the year, 2 years, students take special finishes class. Special finishes class is a flagship class to pretty much show everything that you've learned over 2 years. Do custom work, has to be graphics, stuff like that. But also do collision work. So, with that being said, people say, hey man, why don't you pick a lane? What lane you in? You gonna do restoration work? You're going to do collision work, you're going to work on motorcycles, you're going to do welding, what are you going to do? Well, that's why I named it JG Innovation Garage and not restoration or collision or any of that. Powers of B said name it Garage and everything falls underneath that. Engine performance, all that stuff. So, with that being said, I want to show you this bedside. So, this is an insurance claim, insurance company. The adjuster is in Pennsylvania, telling me in North Carolina what I need to do and what I don't need to do. He wanted to replace the bedside. I said, man, I can fix this dent. Well, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I can fix the dent. Cheaper than replacing the bedside. So, bedside for this Toyota truck from Toyota is about $1,400. And unfortunately, everything with Toyota, if you worked on Toyota, you either find it in the junkyard or you have to buy it new. You cannot buy anything aftermarket for Toyota. Toyota's got that locked down. So, the inner bracing here is bent. I got it straight, beat out as close as I can get it, but I got a new one on order. So, I'm pretty sure with a straight line that this is where it needs to be. But before I lock everything down, I need the fender flare. So once I get the fender flare, then I can make sure that the dent was here, it was a crease here and up. So to make sure it's right, let me turn my camera up. You wonder what my camera's on? My camera is on the handle of my floor jack with a piece of 3M tape wrapped around it, sitting there so I can do this right here. All right, so once the fender flare comes on, I get it on, I bolt it up, make sure it's right. Then I can check the body gaps here and make sure everything goes right, because on the lower part of these fender flares, it had this same profile all the way through it. So I want to make sure this profile matches. If I go ahead and paint this and get done with it and put the flare on there might be a gap there that's not supposed to be there. So we're just in the primer stage now. So I think the paint on this is Orion Silver. I believe that's right. Don't quote me on that. So not going to paint the whole bedside. So we're going to do a blend. If I painted the whole bedside all the way up to the cab, then it won't match because that's a buck panel paint. And you can't do that with with high metallics, it will not match. So you have to do a blend. So a blend is where you start and work your way up and kind of dust it to kind of throw a new color over the old color, so it throws your eye off, so your eye can't look at everything at one time. So you kind of losing where the new fades into the old and the old fades into the new. So to do that, you have to do a blend. So if I was to replace the whole bedside, I would have had to blend the door on the cab, because I'd have to paint this completely, then blend the cab around the cab and around the door and up half past the door, and then re-clear all that. So you see how much that is involved of saying, hey, let me fix this dent and only blend to here, and then dust the color over, you know, somewhere right in here, and then go from there. Now the fender flare will be painted completely new. It won't be blended. So once it goes like that, maybe it'll dust around and you won't catch your eye because there's so much contour and stuff. The eye can't catch it, and you got the flop of the sun and stuff back and forth. So if you don't know how to do a blend, you can look it up and see. A blend is where you're taking the new paint, blend it into the old paint, and the old paint into the new paint. So we're going to do a blend on this Toyota bedside. So the body work was done, hammered and dollied. I was fortunate enough to get up behind it and hammer and dolly 90%, probably 95% of all the dent out. And I just lightly skimmed it with 3M platinum filler, and then I blocked it out with my big kid blocks. And I used the straight shooter and the money makers. Those are my two ones that I go to all the time. All of them are phenomenal. But those two, that's the two that I go to the most. So hold on a second, I'll show you. So here's what I got going on. So here's a straight shooter. So I'm always going to that one. And here's the money maker. I have all different lengths in those. And those two are the two that I go to most of the time. All right, this here is their concave. All right, so I think this is 9 inches, because that's 9 inches from there to there. I think that's 9 inches. So in this little valley right here, I had to block in that little valley. So you got to use a guide coat. I don't use the spray, because the reason why I don't use the spray is because the spray just lightly dusts the whole top. The dust gets down into the pores of the scratches that was there before. So if you had 180 scratches and I guide coated like that, if I had 180 scratches, all that dust is in those scratches. So see if we can get it up here and see what you see. You see, that guide coat is all down in those scratches. So once you go to sanding on it, you know for a fact that all those scratches are gone, because if all the black's gone, all the scratches are gone. So this is 320 paper, and you can see how going a crosshatch pattern, how easy it's showing you that it's going away. See that? So you just go in a crosshatch pattern, go left, I wipe my dust, I go right, and I'm just lightly putting pressure on the block. I'm not pushing real hard, because on these vehicles especially, this metal is super thin. It's like 24, 26 gauge. I had one car at the school that had 28, almost 28 gauge sheet metal on. I mean, that's why we're a throwaway society. Throw it away, put a new one on there. Well, the problem about that is, you throw it away and you put another one on there, eventually the bodywork side of fixing dents is going to go away, because nobody is going to know how to fix the dent. They're just going to say, hey man, just throw it away, get another one. Nobody's going to know. That trade, that art's going to be gone. And I'm constantly tuning and learning every day with that trade. You get faster and faster and faster and faster. So you just keep blocking. You just keep blocking. And this is 320 paper. And you can see right there that about all the scratches are gone in there because all the black's gone. Now once I do this whole panel like that, it will pretty much be flat. Has no other choice but to be flat. But here's the problem that I got now. So I blocked this already one time before. I blocked it with 240, so that's 320. I'll do it with 320, and then I'll double check everything. So if you can look right here, I got a little bit of metal right there. Let me see if I can get right in. Y'all bear with me. You see right here, I got a little bit of metal here, and then I got black and black. So what does that tell you? That tells me that when I God coated this, and then I blocked it, when I blocked it with my concave, and I done like this right here, and I blocked that radius of that. Once I blocked that, I was hitting metal here, therefore that's high, and then everything else is gray, which is level. And then I got two dark spots here, the size of a lima bean, that is low. So, what do you think we should do? Should I keep blocking to kind of level that out? Well, yeah, you would think that, but here's the problem. I've hit bare metal right here about the size of a nickel. You're not going to go through the metal, not with the sandpaper. So I'm constantly blocking and blocking and blocking and blocking. So what's happening is as I'm blocking, you're blocking like this. Well, you're on metal here, right? So you're blocking and you're digging. So it's not flat no more. So your panel's not flat because you're blocking like this. So that bump there is raising the block up. You might not think it is, but it's raising that block up. Since it's raising that block up, you're gouging down in here, and you're going to be like this right here. It's not going to be flat. It's not going to be a nice channel. So what I'll do is I'll take and I'll scuff this. I know where this is at. I'll take some 180 paper, and I'll just take the 180 paper, and I'll just scratch this up real nice. I'll blow it off real good. I'll wipe it off, wipe it down. I'll blow it off real good. I'll mix me up just a little bit of 3M platinum filler, and I'll probably mix about a quarter size, probably not even that much, maybe a dime, quarter size, and then I'll weigh it. And yes, I weigh it, and we had that argument before. It's 2% of the body weight. Had a vendor come by and bring me some some body filler to try, a sample. It's called Revolution, Proform Revolution Extreme Body Filler. Brought me a little quart by to try. Right on the can, it says 2% body weight. There's only so many ways you can make body filler. Every company makes body filler the same. Just like there ain't but so many people in the world that make flake. It's all the same. Just like paint. It's all the same. It's all the same resin. It's all the same. It's just different grades of resin. So people argue with me about all that time. Take that stuff and check it at the door because it says 2% of the body weight on the can. If you're not going to measure anything, then why even mix your primers and your sealers and all that stuff? Just pour whatever you want in there, shake it up like a bartender. Say, hey, let's put it on there and see what happens. See if you don't want to follow the directions. The directions is 2% of the body weight. So I'd mix it up, weigh it on my scale, come over here, take my spreader and I'll cut it down real small, and then I'll tape around the edges because I don't want to get it everywhere. And I'm not gobbing it on there. I'm just going to lightly just skim this little section right here. Just lightly skim it and then feather your edges out. Let it dry, come back. When it dries, put a little bit of guide coat right here. Miraca, whatever, Miraca, I don't know how you say it. I've had this right here for months. It's 100 grams. And Cody even kicked it over and spilled it on the floor, and we still got a lot of it in there. It just takes a dab. I'll guide coat the body filler. What did he say? Guide coat the body filler. That's right, guide coat your body filler so you know where you're going. Then I'll block that out. And then once that's blocked out, since I went through right there, I'll come back here and I went through right here a little bit. I'll come back, I'll tape my edges up. Now when I do this taping, a lot of people when they do their tape, let me back up a little bit so you can see. A lot of people when they do their tape, they'll come up here and they'll run a piece of tape And they'll do this right here. I see it. My students do it all the time, and then you see cars going down the road the same way. You're like, what they do? Take a square mask and put it up there and spray a square? So they take their paper, right? And they do this right here. Do it. And then they do another piece of paper here, and another piece of paper here, and another piece of paper here, right? So they take their paper, right? And they do this right here. And then they put another piece of paper there, and then they prime it all the way up to the tape. Then they peel it off. Now you got a hard edge you can catch with your fingernail because you prime right up to the line. You got a hard line right there. So now you got to feather that out all the way. Why are you doing that? Then when you go back to paint it, if you don't seal it, well, it can happen even when you seal it. You seal it and you paint it, and you get back, you got a daggone square on the side of your vehicle, and you're like, what in the world happened there? It's because you got that hard line. So, this is how you're supposed to tape it. You're supposed to roll the edges. All right, Jay, how you do that? How you roll the edges? So, you put the paper up like this, all right? This paper's already been used, so it don't stick that way. So, you put the paper up like that, right? Then, you don't put it right up on your body, all the way up in your body work. You put it a few inches up, right? So I'm gonna put my tape up like this. Just hold on a daggone second. I'm gonna show you the right way to do it. All right, I'm back. I'm at the 16-minute mark. Try not to take up too much of your time. I gotta put some tape on my cart, so my paper's pre-taped when it comes off. So I'm gonna tape this up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this right here like this, right? So it's just gonna hold it there, all right? Then you take the tape. If you pull it off your masking cart, that's already taped, which normally this is, but I'm out of tape on it, so I gotta put tape on it. So if you pull it off your masking cart, it's gonna have tape on it like that, right? You tape it just like that. Then you roll it back, all right? You roll it back, just like that, all right? Roll it back, just like that. And you got that nice round edge. Do the same thing here, and the same thing here. But if you're going all the way to the bottom, it doesn't matter. So you do the exact same thing on this side. You roll it back. So you got a roll here and a roll here and a roll here. What that does, that gives you a soft edge. Don't prime all the way up to the edge. You're going to stop your primer 3 or 4 inches from the edge. And when you're priming, you lightly just dusting it this way. That's going to give you a soft edge all the way around. See how soft my edge is all the way around? You can't see it between the silver and the gray of the primer. And I sprayed this primer with a 2.5 tip. So I put 2 coats on here with a 2.5 and then blocked it off, and I still missed a little spot right there with the body work in the beginning, but it's okay. So don't do that to the hard edge, all right? So recap. Later this summer, May 22nd, May 23rd, I'm going to host a lowrider class for Lugo Designs. And then later on, I'm going to offer a class on refinishing. So there's a video already up. You gotta go check it out or share it. But that's another thing. So recap. What are we waiting on? We're waiting on parts. Once we get the parts, I'm gonna fix this little dent right here. Then once all that's done, we'll wash the truck down, make sure everything's good. Then we'll get the paint, and then we're gonna blend it. We're gonna do a blend. So that's that. I hope that helps anybody out. If anybody needs Big Kid Blocks, go to bigkidblocks.com, order your Big Kid Blocks. Oh, about that said something else. Go to bigkidblocks.com and order your Big Kid Blocks. My code is JG10. Use it as many times as you want to. I hadn't really talked to these folks ever, but this guide code here, Mirica, they only make it in white and black. And white would be good if you was going to wet sand and polish a black car or a black colored car. So that's what we got going on the Toyota. Small collision repair. Gonna do some blends here and there, new things and everything. So it's a 20-minute mark. Try not to take too much of your time up, but it seems like I did. There's a lot of information to cover. Put God first. Don't worry about nobody else. You ain't in competition with nobody but yourself. Don't worry about what your neighbor's doing. Don't worry about what the guy down the road's doing. Worry about what you're doing. Take care of yourself and let the loose end drag. Put God first. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out.